A few minutes over to Rex Carpenter from the We Care Food for All program, rather, and he's coming back as a repeat from before. He's also brought with him his wife and $2. We'd like to welcome them here this evening.
Thank you.
Mr. Carpenter.
This is my wife, Linda, and Holly and Vanessa, my two girls. I'm representing the Fontana We Care organization, which originally started from the Fontana Ministerial Association. A group of 10 churches got together, set some major goals, trying to decide what we can do to help Fontana. The goals that were set were, number one, we wanted to help feed the homeless. We wanted to have some kind of home for them, some kind of housing. We wanted to provide counseling for them, both personal and career. And basically, we just wanted to help these people get back into the mainstream of life. We didn't want to hit all 4 goals all at once, so we chose one goal, and that was, let's start out and let's feed. That was our first priority. We can start feeding and we can see how the organization works. We chose 3 places to start feeding at. One of them was at the First United Methodist Church, at the rest stop off of 10, and also up in Lytle Creek. And we chose these 3 places because we knew there was a need there. Janet Westfall, our original coordinator, basically just went out and tried to find where the need was. She found a need at all 3 of these places. And we are right now serving between 300 and 400 meals a month on Wednesdays and on Saturdays. Some of the other projects that we've had in the last 2 years in a row, we've had a Thanksgiving dinner right across the street at Fontana Community Church, where we fed over 600 people both times. The churches also have what is called pantries, in which 5 days a week people can come in and get some kind of staples. We provide usually like peanut butter, soup, cheese, beans, macaroni, and they can come in to any one of the churches. They alternate days. One day they can go to one church, and the next day they can be directed to whatever church is collecting it. We have a system in which we can find out who's going where and etc. So we have a check and a balance system, but our ultimate goal is to help the people in the community. We also this year did 60 food baskets for Christmas. We had $500 donation from the Breakfast Lions Club worth of gift certificates. So along with the food, according to the size of the family, they would get a $30 gift certificate. The people that we're helping in this community are not just people that have made the choice in their life that they want to live on the street. Most of the women that we are feeding and that are coming to our pantries are young women between 16 to 25 years old that have families. For whatever reason, their husbands cannot totally support them. So they are coming to us for help. We help anybody, but a lot of people say, why do you take care of these people? But they don't realize it's not just the what normal people call street people. These are families with children. Out at the rest stop, and even in Lytle Creek, there are families that are staying in the cars, in the campers. These are children that are going to Fontana and Colton schools. For whatever reason, they are there. But these are the type of people that we're trying to help. So far, we've been pretty successful. There's another soup kitchen in Fontana, which is the Tamarind Avenue Baptist Soup Kitchen. They feed on the alternate days. We work very closely with Wilma, and we feed on the alternate days that she feeds. We feed Wednesdays and Saturdays. She feeds Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Fontana We Care also provides her with monetary assistance on a monthly basis, and also any food that we can gather that we feel is excess and we can't get rid of it immediately, especially frozen goods or vegetables that come in. If we're not feeding right away, we don't have a place to store them and keep them cool. So we make sure that Wilma gets them. It's just basically something that we want to do for the Fontana community. The other item that we do is an organization called the Food for All program. Fontana We Care has adopted the Food for All program. I don't know if you can see this or not. Can you? Okay. The Food for All program was started 2 years ago in Redlands by Linda and Mylan Hamilton. It's a means in which, as you shop for your groceries, you can simply pick up a card and pay for it just like you would a Reader's Digest or whatever, and pay for it on your as you check out the rest of your groceries. The money, in turn, is sent to Food for All in Redlands. 10% of it is spent on overhead. 75% of it comes back to our community. 25% of it goes to international relief. Now, the coordinators of the Food for All program for Fontana We Care are, number one, our Mayor, Simon, Linda, and myself. Now, that is our job amongst the Fontana We Care organization. So far this year, since October, since Fontana We Care has adopted the 2 lucky stores here in Fontana, we have brought back $1,000 to our organization, Fontana We Care. We have sent $1,000 to the Tamarind Avenue Baptist Soup Kitchen, and we have sent $860 to the Salvation Army here in Fontana. We also have several other applications that we have received, including different organizations that basically feed people in Fontana. That's what Food for All is all about. It's about feeding the people in our communities. We can see the money coming back. The own organization that I'm in, Fontana We Care, we got $1,000. That certainly helped when we fed those 600 people Thanksgiving dinners. Fontana We Care is an all-volunteer organization. Right now it's 10, I beg your pardon, it is 12 churches. We just had 2 more churches come in to our soup kitchen, and they're going to volunteer to help us there. We are supported solely by donations. We receive donations right now, the Breakfast Lions Club, Food for All, the churches, private donors. On the Christmas baskets, the Juniper Community Center, there's 2 ladies down there that helped us, Evelyn Thomas, Tina Hornby. She helped us gather food. Palmetto School helped us gather food. And from all the donations from all the people in this community, we made up some fantastic Christmas baskets. But I just wanted to let you know it's all volunteers. Are there any questions?
Well, I had one, but I don't know if it's appropriate right now. Concerning, there was an article in the newspaper about some problems out at the rest stop. Was
that is a minor
resolved,
issue.
or?
Yes. We're still working on that. We're working very closely right now with Caltrans and the Sheriff's Department, and it's basically what it is. Right now, some people feel that Fontana We Care has created the problem. Because we're feeding there, the homeless are there. But we didn't go there to set up a soup kitchen. to bring the people in. We went there because we knew they were there. It just like when we went up to Lila Creek. We knew there were people living on the creek beds, living in their trailers, living in tents, living in whatever. We knew they were there. You know, we got input from all. When you have a lot of churches involved, you get a lot of input, and people will say, you know, there's a lot of people up there, and there's a lot of people down there. We try to get them to come down to the First United Methodist Church. A lot of them don't have money for gas to be driving around. A lot of them are afraid to come into town for whatever reason. I don't know. I know I'd like to have them all in one central location. Everybody come here. It would be much easier on us. The way we do it now is we fix it at Fontana Community Church. It's prepared there. It is it has all the 4 basic food groups. It is not just soup. It is an excellent meal. Anybody wants to come over on Wednesday and Saturday, they're welcome to come over and see what they get fed. But we've got some fantastic cooks. They can do fantastic things with chicken or hamburgers, or they make soufflés, they make, you name it, they make it. We've got some great cooks. But anyway, Caltrans and the Sheriff's Department would, if they had their druthers, would not want us to feed at the rest stop. Because it is a tough area. There is a lot of crime there. There is a lot of problems there. If I could go in there and tell everybody that was there that was homeless, go here and stay. We have a place in Fontana, or we have a place in Rialto, there are no places in this area that we can send these people to. Where are they going to go? So we run them out of the rest stop. Fine. Now where do they go? They go behind an alley, you know? Do they go up to one of the parks? You know, that's not going to last long. If I had a place to send these people, I would send them there. I don't want them at the rest stop. But they don't have a choice. And as long as they're there, we're going to feed them. Right now, we're trying to get all the paperwork together. We thought we had it once. But it seems that we still need a little more paperwork. And we're still working on that. And we've gotten some, we're getting some support from some officials, and we're getting a little trouble from other officials, so, but we're going to play the game. Whatever rules they want us to play by, that's what we're going to play, because we're not out for civil disobedience, we're just out to feed the hungry. Yes?
Mr. Carpenter, do you suggest to them, you say a lot of these are young people, do you suggest to them jobs that are available? Because I notice in most every eating place we have in Fontana, there's a help wanted sign in the window.
Some of them are working, but the problem with, say you have a woman that's has 2 children. Okay, rent is $400-500 a month. Child care, what do you pay for child care? Even if she goes to work, she still can't pay the rent, she can't pay for the food, she can't pay for the child. A lot of these instant jobs are paying $4.05 an hour, $3.85 an hour. There are all kinds of jobs out there. But who can accept a job with children that only pays $3.85 an hour and expect to put them in a home and feed them properly? It's very difficult. It's kind of a catch-22. I mean, I can find a lot of jobs around here. And, oh, there's a job right down the street. Go down there and work. What does she do with her children? How does she pay for rent? We have a lot of referrals, and we try to get them help. But even a woman that does not have an address, is not living anywhere, she can't sign up for welfare. And I can't send her anywhere. Say, here's a home for you. Go in here and stay. You can establish yourself on welfare. This is the ultimate goal of Fontana We Care. But right now, we don't have the solutions there.
So they need a mailing address.
Yeah.
And
I mean, what are you going to mail it to? Mrs. Smith, care of the rest stop?
How many people do you feel are down at the rest stop?
Before the Sheriff's Department cracked down on them, started running them out, there was, we would feed anywhere from 30 to 50. That would take us about an hour. We have gone down there with food for 30 and run out in 15 minutes and simply had to leave. Simply had to leave because we just can't. When you run out, you run out. But at one time it was 30 to 50 people. At one time, I'll have to share one special experience over the Christmas. Wednesday before Christmas, my wife and I, Linda went to the rest stop, and I went up to Lotto Creek. Linda had a bunch of presents with her. We'd gathered presents for the kids, because Christmas wasn't going to be that hot for them. So we took presents and food, and we fed, I can't even remember the numbers, but we fed 2 families that were at the rest stop. Because when we went back, okay, that's Wednesday. Friday is Christmas Day. Saturday we went back to the rest stop. The same 2 families are there with children. That tells me they spent Christmas at the rest stop. One was a family with 3 children that lived in their car. The other one was a family with one small little 8-year-old girl. Well, we did as much as we could. They got some very nice presents. But a home for them I could not offer. I could not tell them where to go or how to find a home. But when we went back Saturday, and Linda says, that's the same families that were here Wednesday. She says, they've stayed here over Christmas.
Do these children go to school?
The children that go to school, yes. Some of them, I believe the 3 that we talked to were going to school in the Colton area, going to the Colton schools. The last group that I saw in there was a lady that had 3 or 4 children. She said they went to they were actually going to school in the Fontana area. For whatever reason, she was there. I don't know. I believe it was a abuse problem, but I couldn't get a lot out of her, so there wasn't much I could do.
Then the concern of the Sheriff's Department and Caltrans is that these wouldn't ordinarily be permanent residents there, but they're coming because you offer the food, and your concern is that they are there, so we're taking the food there. Is that...
Caltrans and the Sheriff Department shares the same, yes, that's what they're saying, but they're also saying that there is such a criminal faction there, they are afraid that the homeless are going to get hurt. That's what they're telling me. My contention is take care of the criminal problem that's there first. It's very easy to go in there at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning and run people out. Well, those people that are there at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning are, normally it's the homeless. But what about the other problem? Everybody knows that they've had a problem at that rest stop for 10 years. They have always had a problem there. I'm saying, well, how come something hasn't been done about that? Why are my homeless the ones that have to suffer? We're all working on the problem, and we're working together on it right now.
Are there any problems in Lido Creek of that sort?
No. The gentleman that owns Animal Crackers offered us a little lot right across the street from his facility. He says, you can feed there. A very Christian gentleman has helped us tremendously, so we just pull in there and set up. We feed about 25 to 30 in Lido Creek. We feed one family that has 7 children. She has a house. She's living in a house. She wasn't during the summer, but she's living in a home now. But she has 7 ones, and they go from here on down.
I do know that they have had a lot of criminal activity, so to speak, at that rest stop long before the homeless started coming there, I'm sure. And so I could see their concern for that, too.
Sure.
Would be like kicking a person while he was already down, so to speak. Chris, would you like to add
gonna
anything
ask.
to that, or?
Well, the problem is over at the, put it bluntly.
I agree with him 100%.
Well, hopefully something can be worked out, as has been done in Lytle Creek. Is there anyone that has property that would be willing to? But then you get into that, I guess, with liability and that.
There is no simple solution. Why they congregate there, I don't know. It's either there or sometimes they go to state parks where they can stay for 2 weeks. But that costs money, you know. A lot of the people that have been run out simply told me, well, we're just going to another rest stop.
Well, I think probably it has restrooms or, you know,
Yeah.
some lawn or a picnic table or whatever, if the weather permitted.
Are they aware that they're serving at the United Methodist Church?
Oh, yes. Definitely. A lot of them don't have cars. Some of the gentlemen don't have cars. But like I said, the families, most of them don't have the money to pay for the gas to get up there. Or for whatever reason, they don't want to come into town.
So how do they get their children to school?
I have no idea. If relatives come by and pick them up, or we're not there during that period.
Are there any other questions or comments, Chris?
Do you think the food for all is catching on at the Lucky's Markets? What do you think your success is?
It's a slow process.
I-
It is definitely a slow process. Linda and I and Mayor Simon have been working at it for, I guess, 3 months now. And it's slowly catching on, but it's something you just got to get the people used to. But
Jeff- I was going to say, Jeff and I volunteered in the Lucky's Market last week.
yeah, that was last week.
Yeah.
We were at the Lucky's Market up on Sierra, North Sierra, what we call the North one. We had a good time.
Yeah, we had a
Passed out
good
a
time.
lot of literature. But it's just going to take a while to get them used to the program. And this program not only helps Fontana We Care, but it helps the other programs in the area, the Soup Kitchen, the Salvation Army, and there's going to be another allocation coming up here pretty soon, and there's some other organizations in this area that are targeted. We want to know who feeds. If they're passing out food, we want to help them.
Do you mind telling us how you operate this card? You just write on the amount you want
No.
that you're paying when you go through the cash register?
You have 3 cards. You can buy a 50-cent card, a $1 card, or a $5 card. And as you go through the register, they ring it up. They give you the bottom half for your donations. And it's that simple. Just take a card off and pay for it as you go through. It's like if you were buying chewing gum or...
Excuse me, those stands that you're referring to are located right by the cash registers.
Right by
aren't
the
they?
cash register.
By the gum and candy and that. So,
Yeah, it's just something, that's going to take a while to get going. Right now, all the Lucky stores in Southern California are involved in the program. They helped us. Gerard's in Redlands started out with a small pilot. Lucky stepped in and did 3 stores and did a pilot. Finally, Lucky says, hey, this is going to work. We're going to go for it. We also have just signed up Hughes. Hughes Market has agreed to help us. So they're going to be putting those in there too. But the one thing that we need is, we have all the Lucky stores, but we need people to adopt the stores. So by adopting a store like Fontana We Care did, we adopted 2 stores. It is then your job to get it in the paper, to get out there and pass out the literature, to basically advertise it. Hopefully this year, Paul Newman, who's agreed to do some advertising for us, he has promised this year he's going to try to do a couple slots for us. And once we can get him on TV, I think it'll really take off because people will be aware of the program.
good. Well, we wish to thank you for coming back again and this information. And I think you have some of our names and numbers that you can
Yes, I
call
do.
us. if and when we're available, we'll do what we can.
Well, I want to thank you for inviting me. Appreciate you giving me the time very much.
Thanks also to your wife and 2 daughters. Okay, thank you. Could I have a motion and a second that we accept Mr. Rex Carpenter's report this evening?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I move that we accept Mr. Carpenter's report.
Okay, a second, please.
And I
A second.
second.
2 seconds. Okay, it has been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay. Moving down to item B on unfinished business.